It's such a great pleasure to be here today and witness the day that we're having here today with Open19. We had the pleasure from Lefdal Mine Data Center to follow Yuval and his team for some time now, and to finally be where we're at, it's fantastic. Lefdal Mine Data Center is a data center off the west coast in Norway, and of course, we're also going to deploy Open19. Today, I'm going to give you a presentation on our data center solution, which is in some ways unique, I hope, at least in Europe. We'll see if you have something comparable in US. And I'll also talk about our technical solutions and what we're going to fit into our data center over there as European footprint for, amongst others, Open19 as a bare metal cloud service. First, I need to take you to our facility and to show you how it looks, and for you to grasp the size of what we are doing. I have a pointer with a laser, and I'm going to use that on one of the screens, so please bear with me. I have it behind me, perfect. This is a mine, former olivine mine. It's green mineral. So the idea came across, we take green mineral out, and we put green IT in. In this mine, which is approximately 1,500 feet long, some 1,000 feet wide, and 150 feet deep, we're going to build data center on level 3, then later 4, and level 2. Now, if that was constructed today, it would be approximately 120,000 square meters of net white space, or 1.2 million square feet of net white space. The entrance to the mine is up here. You will see some pictures afterwards, but it's going as a spiral down, connecting the different levels. Now, this road is 1,600 meters long. 2 trucks can pass each other. And to show some of the size, we have put then a couple of pointers, Statue of Liberty being one of them. I guess most of you have been there, so you know that it's tall, but also 747, a truck, and then a sedan down here. You probably can't see it. But this is Lefdal Mine Data Center. These little rooms that we have here, they are 18 meters tall. And it's in these rooms that we're going to fit with different IT housing solutions. Lefdal Mine Data Center has a few, well, we can narrow it down to 4 unique points that we think is very unique in Europe, and you can judge yourself if they're unique in US. This mine, we already have. We have the floor, the walls, and the ceiling. The cost of building data center capacity here is about 50% of building in a building above the ground. The cost of lifting capacity is half the price. Now, the reason for that is many, but amongst others, we're building a unique cooling solution that I'm going to show you later, based on fjord water, which has a low capex and also a low opex. And low opex means that when you're in Norway, you have green power at 4 euro cent per kilowatt hour, and we guarantee a PUE of 1.15 or less. So the opex is also low. So we're bringing data center capacity to the market, which is on low density, 40% lower price, TCO, than the rest of Europe. And if you go high density, it becomes even better, up to 50–60% lower TCO. And we know that this is a solution for the future. So we have a low-cost mine, yet being then a Tier 3 facility. Another USP we have is the flexibility. Now, we have learned today that there is new technology coming. There is Amazon is now using machine learning to predict where they need to build out the next cloud and how much they need, because the customers are so many and we don't know which direction they're going. There is so many things that is constantly changing. But at Lefdal Mine Data Center, one can start with a deployment in a small corner, a few racks, and then have the possibility of growing when you need it, quickly, in a cost-effective way. Time to market being 8 weeks for large-scale capacity. There's a Tier 3 solution, but we can also do Tier 2 or Tier 1 or Tier 0. There's all sorts of housing solutions which I will show you. So the flexibility of the mine is unique. Then, of course, you have the green. I'm going to talk a little bit about that afterwards. And the security, being the greenest data center in Europe and one of the more secure. And security is important. We're all aware of what's going on in the world now. And it's going to be more and more important as we move along. There are different ways of dealing with security. But inside this mountain hall, the data is EMP secure. EMP meaning electromagnetic pulses. And just short intro on that, in case you don't know, that is normally generated by solar storms, war, or terror. Terror hasn't quite begun yet, but I'm sure they will start doing it eventually, frying data centers. Inside Lefdal Mine data center, the data is EMP secure because it's deep inside the mountain. We're building tier 3, and of course we have access control and monitoring, only 2 points of access. And it's a high secure facility built to take care of governmental data for Norway and international organizations. Highest security standards in the Nordic region. It's also Europe's greenest data center. The power in Norway is mostly hydropower. It's 95% hydropower. The rest is on the oil, offshore, on the oil platforms. But it's running on renewable power. We're using little power, and the PV being very low is also meaning then again that we're using little power. There is 0 CO2, there is 0 WE, water usage, and we have a Norwegian green code of conduct, and we're using the wastewater for other projects. So this is also recycling of the mine, there is limited visuality, and we're having an extreme green solution. Now, I have talked to a lot of customers, and more recently, since after opening them the 10th of May, and they're quite sincere when they say that for us, green is good, cost is more important. If I have an A and a B, which is identical on cost, I will of course take the green solution. But I think those times are changing as well, and we can see that over in Europe now, that it's a more demand for green solutions. And I raise my hand to say I'm really glad that it's going in that direction. So Norway has a uniqueness in power. Green power, large surplus production at low cost. And if Norway is unique in Europe, Lefdal is unique in Norway. Behind me you see a map. That map is about the size of greater San Francisco. Not as many people living there as in San Francisco, but we have hydropower plants, windmill parks, renewable power all around us, and the national grid going through the area with 2,500 megawatt. Different feeds into the data center, and it's really a power haven. Now, I don't know how much time I'm going to have today, but I'm going to have to do this anyway since I'm in the US now, and that is to show you this little fun fact. What you see behind here is glaciers, the white ones. These glaciers, they melt in the summer, and we also have quite a lot of rain. So inside these mountains, we have power production generated by hydro inside the mountain. Those are 150 megawatt power production plants, which we then can feed directly with a sea cable, 500 meter deep fjord, directly into the data center. I usually call these power plants the biggest battery in Europe, unaffected of what's happening on the surface of Earth. Network-wise, I also brought this special image for you today, and that is the map of US on top of Europe. Now, I don't know if you've seen that before. I hadn't when I first found it, and I was quite surprised to see the sizes and how they match. But as you can see behind me here, it's pretty much the same size actually. And for me, and being in Europe, it's important for us that everyone understands what are the distances in terms of latency. We can see the white circle here, I mean Lefdal being up here, we can see the white circle representing about 20 milliseconds round trip. Okay, and we learned today by Cole and the others that we have the edge, which is 5 milliseconds or less. So obviously, Lefdal Mine data center is not an edge data center, it's a super hyperscale data center. And I can also imagine that we're going to host some of those 170 petabyte of data that we will have in about 10 years. But it's a hyperscale data center with 17 milliseconds round trip to London, about 20 to Frankfurt, Amsterdam, to the big connectivity hubs in Europe. Now, together with the partner, on the other side, we're setting up hubs in these connectivity hubs in Frankfurt, Amsterdam, and London, pairing 2N zero hop, and making it easier for both our customers to get online with us, but also the other way around. Inside the mountain hall, on each level, we're starting to build on level 3. There is an avenue going across the entire level. It's a road going straight forward. It's 330 meters long, or 1,000 feet. On each side, we have streets. Have you heard about that before? Streets and avenues? We have it as well. Okay. And in these streets is where we're going to house the IT solutions. Either being containers, IT containers, like we see here, 40 feet high cube containers with server racks in them, or data halls. I'm going to show you these afterwards. This is the entry of level 3. So now we're standing in the spiral, the road going down, connecting the levels, looking into the data center facility, and the 330 meter long road. Here we again see the entrance to level 3. And on each side of that entrance, we have a cooling station A and B. Being a tier 3 facility, everything is of course redundant, concurrent maintainable. These cooling stations are fed with cold seawater from the fjord next to the facility. So we have a 500 meter deep fjord, so we go down on 50 meters and pick up 8-degree water, 24/7, 365. One modus of operandi. No hot days, no polluted air. There is cold seawater, 8 degrees. We take them through 900 millimeter PE pipes just above surface and down to level 3 in the mine. The entire mine, except level 1, but where we're going to build data center on level 2, 3, and 4, is below sea level. Meaning that there is very limited amount of energy needed to transport the water. It's like you want to empty the gas from the tank, you use a tube, you suck a little bit on it, and it starts to roll, and it doesn't stop. And we're using the same solution. So on each side, on A and B side, there is heat exchangers interacting with the cold seawater coming down into a closed freshwater circuit, transporting the cold water throughout the designated areas. The design of Lefdal Mine Data Center is modular. Everything is built up to scale fast, and so is this. These heat exchangers are 7.5 megawatt each, 6 on each side, and we build them up in 3 to 3 weeks. We do it as capacity rolls out. I'm not sure if everyone in the room knows, but water is a very effective cooling medium. It leads heat about 4,000 times more efficient than air. So by using cold water in our solutions, we can have up to 50 kilowatt per rack. Now, if you run a regular solution of 5 kilowatt per rack, and that's very cost efficient, you can imagine what happens when you increase the density in the same footprint. So since we opened a couple of weeks ago, and also before that, we had a large interest from the European HPC community in deploying capacity in Lefdal Mine Data Center. So this is just a 3D drawing on how we transport the water in 2 different channels throughout the facility, everything being redundant and crossovers, and then into different cooling solutions. Rittal, German company with 12,000 employees, 2,000 data center patents, delivers about 60% of the racks in the world. They're a shareholder in Lefdal Mine Data Center. The owner of Rittal also owns 33% of Lefdal Mine Data Center. And we have together special designed some standard modules that one can use if I want to move into Lefdal. Now, what is typical about this is the word standardization. Now, standardization means that you do one thing a lot of times. That increases the quality of what you're doing, it reduces the price on what you're producing, and it also reduces the time to market. Faster, better, higher quality. This standard module basically consists of, I'll point instead, server racks, which in many cases will be Open19, with LCPs in between them, liquid cooling packages, cold water coming in beneath, transformed to cold air, up hot air, out hot water. Comes in different sizes and shape, depending on tier level and the amount of density that you want inside these modules. But in a 40 feet container, you can basically run with a standard setup up to 300 kilowatts. The interesting part here, now if you take an Open19 environment and you start talking about time to market, now you need to put this somewhere where it's also ready for the rack infrastructure. And Lefdal Mine Data Center has had a couple of things on top of our minds since day one. And that was, of course, to create a really cost-effective solution, but also time to market. These modules, from a purchase order, is produced in 6 weeks. 1 week transportation and 1 week of hookup. So we have a Lego for the Lego system. So time to market here is exceptional with these two together. We put these modules into containers, and the containers goes on to a special designed electrical vehicle. This electrical vehicle is driven by remote control, and we offload the containers outside the facility and transport them into the designated area where they're going to be then put into container racks, looking like this. Special lifting gear, putting them into place. The first containers are already there, and it's going to be a lot of containers in Lefdal Mine Data Center down the road, but we also have other solutions which I will show you later. Now we stand in the avenue on this picture and look into the street, and if we turn around and go into the street and look out to the avenue, you can see the two guys at the end there and see the dimension of what we're building. And this is simple. It's really a simple garage where you can come and park your car. Any type of container or any type of structure inside our data halls. This is from the opening ceremony we had on the 10th of May, and I brought a special picture which I like a lot, because in this picture we have Yuval to the left, you have Brian Carstetter from Flex and Tony Ross. They're both here today, and Yuval, of course, but these guys came to our opening a couple of weeks ago. And please, reach out to them if you have any questions or concerns about the solution that they witnessed. It was great having you there, guys. So, if you don't want to do containers, but you want to do regular data halls, we have, together with Rittal, produced a panel-based modular room. Now, our streets, they're 13 meters wide, all of them, no exemptions. So these rooms are 12 meters wide, always, 4 meters tall, and vary in length, depending on how long the streets are. This room, in particular, is 30 meters long, so 360 square meters of white space, so 3,600 square feet. We put them on concrete slabs into the streets, where they're provided with network, cooling, and power. This is one of the buildings that is already in place, seen then from the avenue, and this is how it looks outside, and this is how it looks inside before the raised floor is coming in. So here we typically deploy different types of infrastructure, all depending on what type of cooling solution we're going to use. If it's LCPs or underfloor cooling or CRA or different types, we can do many of them based on cold water always. And this is a hot eye, cold eye setup, and this is how it looks on an animation. Now, This is where Open19 comes into the picture, of course. In these rooms or in the containers, we will deploy as soon as it's ready, hopefully in Q4, together with Flex, the first Open19 environment in Europe. The business model is easy. It's server slots as a service, bare metal cloud service. As soon as this is in operation, you will of course be invited to come and have a look at it or try it from remote. But I'm admitting it, I'm the marketing manager. One of our main targets is of course to help you in US having a European footprint in a safe and sound environment, cost-effective, green, scalable, and with Open19. IBM has been a part of our project since day one. It was important for us when we did a mine and want to create a data center to bring them in. They're having a solid group of people who's used to building data centers across the world. We got their best people. They worked with us for a couple of years, both with the design, build out, and verification process. And IBM is of course then moving in with global IBM resiliency services, selling it as of Q4. Other tenants we have moved in is 4 megawatt of HPC Rig from Switzerland, was signed just a couple of weeks ago. MSPs over in Europe, cloud providers in Germany. There is different types of customers already signing up. And the first phase, which is level 3, is 2 times 45 megawatt cooling, meaning that you can either run a tier 3 on 45 megawatt or you can run a tier 0 on 90, or a combination of the both. Now we know that our facility is not in your living room or in your car or in the edge, but it's a bit away. And it's important for us to gain trust and to bring it as close as possible to the people using it. So what we're doing is that we're stealing some of the things that they're doing in the offshore. Norway is big on offshore industry. And what they do is that on the oil platforms, they have people with helmets, HD cameras, audio, and they have the technology experts onshore. Now, at Lefdal Mine Data Center, you can sit on your laptop at home and you can call this helmet on demand. And you can see what this guy is seeing and you can tell him what to do and not to do. And I can assure you one thing as well, and that is that they're very affordable and very high skilled. So this is perfect capital cost alignment. So, we have a lot of space, we have a lot of power, and we have almost unlimited cooling. This means that we have a highly scalable solution, and in this solution, we're setting up a few type of products. The concrete slab that you saw, where we put the data hall, now one can rent that concrete slab and put up exactly what one wants yourself. That's a space where one can build something, bring something, and will provide you with the services of a data center and infrastructure. You can then also do a data hall with raised floor, typical colo, or we can fit it with racks, Open19, other solutions, and also with servers, infrastructure as a service. There will be a few providers there, services, so hybrid models, of course. These are the main product categories. Then all of this can be either then in an N+1 or 2N solution. You can do up to 50 kilowatt per rack with LCPs, under floor cooling up to 20, and cryo up to 6 kilowatt or less. But you can scale as you go and increase density. And we all know that the density is going up. These environments, all of them above, can be put up on OpEx models. Pay for what you use, when you use it, and stop when you want to stop. Or it can be a combination of an OpEx and a CapEx model, depending on what's suitable. So, we call this the industrialization of data centers. And the vision we have shared with many of our suppliers, Rittal, IBM, and we believe in this. We believe that this is the future. Scalable environments with different directions of tier levels, of densities, of housing solutions, being able to accommodate the future developments. And we have, of course, named this then the Norwegian solution, which we like, being from Norway. I think I will stop there. I'm going to be here afterwards, over in that corner, if there's anyone who has any questions or would like to talk. So over there. Thank you very much.